Good day, everyone, and welcome to yet another Battle of Five Armies video. I think my last video of the very basic rules recap was a bit successful in a sense that actually people started asking for something a little bit more advanced. So I think we can try progressing a little bit further. This is a game that I played against ProniX or some ProniX, yes, which is very interesting situation because our Discord community overall agrees that three people are the stronger side. It is a bit funny because people believe that it was vastly stronger, like 70 or even higher win percentage ratio. But with my own hands and mind, I think I was able to convince people a little bit that it is not that bad, that actually Shadow player has tools to fight that some people maybe didn't consider or maybe didn't approach correctly. So for a few months I was you can call it quote unquote fighting to represent Shadow side and show what can you do with it as a Shadow player. But then ProniX appeared and simply mentioned that in his mind there's no way three people can win or something like that. I may be oversimplifying. So it was a little bit of a, maybe not a shock, but surprise to hear that there are some people that feel that this game is heavily unbalanced in Shadow's favor. So to defend my poor, underbalanced, underpowered Shadow brothers, and sisters, maybe, I don't know, I stood up and asked to play a few games with ProniX and to see, how it will go. Will he show some crazy stuff we didn't think about and will smash me into pieces, or will I be able to convince him with my gameplay that actually three people not only have chance at winning, but maybe are even favored. So I'm starting with as three people, obviously. I have two cards in my hand. One is Man of the Lake with longswords, specifically longswords, which means they can slash very effectively. And this card allows me to place Lakeman and one leadership token in one three people army with leadership. So in general, this is very flexible card because it allows me to place the two soldiers and like good useful soldiers to add up almost anywhere on the map. There is the limit that the army needs to already have leadership, so it's not like I can support any single army at any time, but you usually don't want to have many weak spread armies. You want to have few armies with leadership. Sometimes you can see where Shadow is attacking, and also Dane has the ability to add leadership to any dwarven army with a dwarf, so it is very flexible card, very strong card. And call to arms that I can choose two armies with leadership and move them up to two regions. So very flexible movement on the other hand, which is very cool. Sometimes being able to reposition two armies, two regions, can be really massive to consolidate soldiers or to block Shadow movement or to retake settlements. So pretty decent start. I have stuff to do with my Palantirs, I have stuff to do with maybe in the future with my Master Die if I keep this card for longer. So yeah, I start with the usual three generals activation. The Fate Pool has the highest number of one tokens. Basically, it has 5 ones, 4 twos, and 3 threes. So there's the highest chance that one will be drawn anyway. So I don't really plan on having some lucky fate hit, especially that early. It doesn't change that much. I want to have 3 generals that each of them can put down a token or do something else to not lose on tempo on very first turn. So this is like the usual stuff. And I put 3 leadership tokens. 1 leadership token is the Dwarven Veteran. This is like the most valuable soldier. I don't want him to be standing around, and I want to go to weakly defended Eastern Spur. Basically, Eastern Spur, it doesn't have easy ways to be reinforced. It has 1 token, and there's no really easy ways to put additional tokens if not for the event cards. So if I put him here and flip this token, I will have at least 4 combat dice, and it starts to be really costly for shadow players to take. So this is like the basic easy movement, and yeah. And one here, if shadow players will attack, I have a reroll. If they will go around, maybe from the north to take it, I have ability to move to Ruins of Dale and consolidate. And one here, you know what? The third one isn't really that big of a deal. If I have too many sea dice, or if I will be playing Call to Arms, I want to move this guy away from the goblins. I don't want them the ability to move and attack. If this will open and just kill my lone soldier, I want to consolidate him either to Ravenhill or Fallen Breach somewhere. If I have a lot of like sea dice turn one, okay. So this is the if I had 1 general free, that could be decent, but he has 2 and he can keep 2. The first 2 is quite iffy just because it allows to early Bilbo recruitment. If I have too many sea dice, you don't really want too many sea dice. The best dice are the recruitment dice in the round 1 anyway. You want some movement, but not too many. Like 1 sea die is fairly good. And he thinks that he wants to draw, and he decides to draw further. Just because whenever you draw those tiles and you decide on redrawing, those that you already have drawn keep on the table. So, they were 5 once in the pool, and 1 less 3 and 1 less 2 during the drawing. So, getting the 1 is really, 50-50 odds, basically, right? So he got 1 with the C, and yeah, a good result for him. And I got Bjorn. Bjorn, I don't value that highly his fate cards just because sometimes game is over before he joins or the moment he joins, so it doesn't give that much. Like Thorin probably are the best, and Eagles are also good ones. Okay, and 3 leadership tokens. Yeah, some usual stuff. That's understandable. You want have on forward armies if you have opportunity to like attack very fast and early, and on the back line armies, if you want maybe to pull something from behind. Yeah, and he puts them 2 into the eastern bank because that has the fortification. Maybe he will attack. Sometimes shadow attacks it round 1, and 1 in the Ruins of Dale. Okay. He rolls, what an interesting roll. Lots of recruitment, so 3 eyes, a lot of goblins, nasty. I think many people probably would consider it a bad roll for for Shadow because it is slow, but I don't believe that you need to be that fast turn 1. It is, especially that I have only 2 dice for recruitment. It's not like I will recruit everything I want. So like getting the armies for to be able to attack from multiple sides for 3 people can defend very strong, and in usual cases their armies are stronger than shadow player because they have advantages terrain, fortifications, more leadership. Not when Bollocks joins, but in general. But they cannot defend everywhere. So as shadow, if you have those goblins and you have those armies, you can really pick the weakest side of the three people, so and force them to move, to counterattack, and like not just sit and defend from the one side, right? Shadow it is good to be like hard to predict. Yeah. So first move, I use Sea Die to move this Dwarven Veteran as fast as possible, just because there are some nasty tricks that Shadow can do. For example, he can have a card that allows him to move this small army 2 tiles and attack. And it is small army and I have fortification, but still it starts with one Lakeman, right? 3 dice with one reroll can probably take this one guy. So I don't want that to happen. Or there are some even cards that allows Shadow player to flip cards, flip tokens, or recruit and move armies. I don't want him to block this space. So with a Sea Die, you can move any army 2 tiles, but you cannot move to 2 areas next to enemy army. So if he would put this army here, I cannot move my Dwarven Veteran here and then here, because here is next to enemy army. So I just want to move as fast to make it as strong as like reinforced as possible, and I want to move this to make this move anyway. So it's not like I show something specific. And then yeah. So he realizes, he has those 3 eyes, he has to use them. It is somewhat like passing. You want to pass me out to see what I do before he commits anything, to reduce my dice, a number of dice that I can have to respond. So I see goblins, which is a bit scary, and I use master die. Yeah, I can use master die to just flip. I'm not using any general because you can use one general before a die. So I have 3 dice left, I have 3 generals left. I remain flexible, seeing that Shadow stays in place. And I just this is cool to get Dwarven Veteran here. I got Lakeman here, which is also whatever, any soldier basically is good. So yeah, and he flips and he recruits goblins. I pass to see what he does. Not that I'm surprised. He obviously puts more goblins, so this passage is open. He has this guy here. It may start getting a tiny bit scary very soon. So I flip specifically Dane because I don't think I will need recruitment token, but to put down that I will need leadership token. To put down recruitment token, I keep Bard flexible in case I will need to fast flip Ruins of Day. Oh, second veteran. That may be a little bit overkill, but 2 veterans are good. And then I put Fallen Bridge. I expect this turn to be very slow, so I want to recruit out of Camp and Fallen Bridge because these are the recruitment locations. Sometimes in longer games it can happen that you recruit first on the outside and you stack those tokens in Camp, and suddenly you have Master Die, but you can only flip Camp, and this is very ineffective. So I want to recruit the most out of the recruitment tokens, so even if I have armies ready, I can move them out and then I can start recruiting again. Okay, so what does he do? Ooh, Gather and Marshal, very strong card. Place and flip recruitment token in a region containing a friendly army. So you can place it anywhere, and this is a very cute trick, very smart, decides to place it on goblins here, which is cute because that makes him independent of eye dice and allows him to move those goblins that little bit faster. And it's really cute. Now usually the game starts with Shadow attacking from the east, and then maybe goblins come from with support, but suddenly this game, he can attack basically anywhere. So I need to be really careful how I expand my dice, and for recruitment and for attack. So I decided, you know what, I will not place token with Bard because that may put me a little bit behind in tempo because I have no idea where he will attack and I still have some tokens to flip. I just want to have that one more army ready. And I use, oh, that's cute. I use call to arms to move 2 armies. I'm keeping Palantir. I guess I either want to see what he does and reinforce with a Man of the Lake with Palantir, a region where he will move toward attack, or maybe draw 2 cards. Having Palantir as a last die, can be very flexible and very cool in this game. You can do a lot of stuff. So yeah, with 1 card I move 2 armies. He moves. This is neat. He moves. Yeah, I just noticed. He moves 2 armies. He prepares his goblins, which is interesting. Obviously, those goblins need to move someday. I'm not sure. Maybe I would have gathered more of these armies. On the other hand, recruitment tokens are still not flipped, so it makes sense. Maybe next turn you want to flip some tokens, start moving those armies, and some coordinated attack or stuff like that. And since he's moving out, this area is very weak early and doesn't have that much recruitment as camp. So I am happy to put more boots on the ground here just to prepare for the future fight, to be able to even to defend against 5 goblins. It can be not easy when you have only few elves around, spread out. And I notice probably soon that he, you know what, we'll go to that when it will happen. And he uses C die to consolidate those 2 armies to have at least one more army here. Oh, okay, so yeah, now I noticed he moved 6 soldiers here, so basically you can have only 5 soldiers in any region, with the only exception being recruitment regions for Shadow. So in those goblin mastering points and those basically tiles that have a crown, the master die symbol, in these areas Shadow can have more than 5 soldiers. So when he moves out, he needs to. So he decided to leave out orc, maybe goblin. Doesn't matter that much, I guess. Maybe for some flexibility, 2 orcs. I would prefer orcs. Okay, so round 1 usually is either some blitz attack from Shadow to take some easy kills, possibly, maybe recruit bulk, but with 3 eyes, not that. It would be maybe possible, but maybe not that good idea. He just prepared for the next round, and it's also valuable. Now he has a lot of places that he can attack from. And I just recruited stuff and prepared to defend. I got the Arkenstone of Tari. Yeah, very good tile if you have a die to spend and do nothing, which is actually quite a big cost. This tile is very big because Shadow player cannot redraw this tile. So this counteracts, like digging deep, a Shadow player, oh, I see a 2 or 3, I just redraw to see what happens. Maybe I'll get a lucky one. The moment you draw this specific tile, the fate phase ends on this tile. 3 people get 3 fate and a card, which is also the strongest tile for 3 people. So it is quite random. It is costly to put, but when Shadow pulls like 2 or 3 tokens each round, it is and you put it early, there are very high odds you will draw this tile during the game. So I will probably be looking to play this turn 2. And the troop leader, quite, I mean, I'm hesitant on evaluating this card because it is quite cute to be able to heal an army for guaranteed 2 damage with a C die or Palantir. Usually you can heal armies only with Master die, so it adds flexibility. Still, the 2 damage from one army isn't that much, so it usually ends that I almost never use this effect because I simply don't have time for such a minuscule effect. Okay, and yeah, I activate again standard 3 generals. I want to recruit more. That's the thing. Gandalf is an option, but usually I don't like Gandalf. Uh, I usually activate Gandalf mostly if I want to have free character, free leadership tokens, because his effect is very random and takes a lot of time. 2 activations to get 1 fireball shot. Like, okay. Which is strong, that fireball shot, but you know. Okay, so he do the classic. This is what usually happens. 2 into 1. Yeah. And let's see. Eagles are coming. Okay. So eagles usually when they come in just like without any buff, let's say, from fate cards, they're fairly. They're decent, but not like game breaking. But once they get any card, they actually become really, maybe not game breaking, but really strong force to be reckoned with. So, yeah. And he sets up. This is interesting. So he sets up only 2 bats and 4 leadership tokens. Usually I don't place as shadow that many leadership tokens because are you really going to move 4 armies? But that 1 more bat may be, plus 1 additional damage somewhere, maybe valuable, but he doesn't know what he will roll. Maybe he will, and I don't know what cards does he have, so maybe he will decide to move those 2 armies instead of goblins. So yeah, it may be valuable. He gets I, which is a good die right now because it allows him to either move those 2 armies which are very important to him, or move and attack with one of those armies. And I die is respectable die right now. 2 Palantirs, very fast, flexible C dice, and 1 Master. So he can look to recruit Bulk right now. He can actually look to even recruit it a bit more, or like maybe not recruit, but gather some strength before attacking because he has Palantir, so he can draw some cards and see what happens. Oh, this is, yeah, okay, so that is a very inflexible roll on my part, and this is a little bit scary. I have Master dice compared to um, War of the Ring. Battle of Armies is very tactical and really depends on your movement, ability to adapt, and counter attack. 3 people don't really play that passive role. Okay, I just stack soldiers that shadow will try to roll over, or or die trying. You really need to counter attack and move around. So having only 1 attacking die showing, it means that I will be able to move my armies or attack only once if I don't get any other card. I have 2 Palantirs, so I will probably looking to draw 1 card. We will see. Maybe I will get some cards when being attacked from the terrain superiority. So I start with flipping to put a token in here, and yeah, I see that I see that Ravenhill is in danger because these goblins are really close. They can move here and then attack here. So I want to recruit this space as fast as possible, and I want to have the Fallen Bridge also have 5 stacked soldiers to either defend, counter attack, and all that sweet stuff. This is the most vulnerable position, so I want to be as strong as possible, as fast as possible here. And I just place his token for the future. Depends what happen. I can use bar to flip this token because it lies here, so why not? Or I can use my second master to flip this token Ravenhill. So uh, yeah, he uses an eye to just move two armies. This is very cute move. I really like this move because he doesn't want to just move an attack and fight five like weaker soldiers, I can say, because they don't have really that strong combat effects. Goblins, yeah, deal 1 damage, but they deal 1 damage to themselves. Orcs gain leadership token, which is quite slow effect, and I have here soldiers that reduce damage taken and increase damage dealt. And also, if he attacks here, I get terrain superiority. So this is very advantageous fight for him. So instead, he just moves out to threaten my Ravenhill, which is very smart move. And then uh, moves here to also open attacking camp, attacking Easter Spore. So it is very cool move. This is what I like in difference to War of the Ring. War of the Ring, you usually, okay, when you have armies to conquer a region, sometimes there are in what order you conquer a region, but usually you need to conquer the region as a whole. But this really depends on which order you attack. How do you force enemies to counterattack? Because if he attacks with those goblins weak Ravenhill instead of just building out on the Fallen Bridge, he will be getting terrain superiority and cards, and then if I want to reconquer it or defend it, I will be giving even more cards through terrain superiority. So he wants to be fighting on those hills, not in this city. Okay, and I just flip token, and I flip token. I just want to have some soldiers here. 3 elven spearmen are actually decent because they protect also the fortification. If they reduce damage, they reduce damage dealt to fortification. So sometimes fortification can hold longer, and like fortification half because it reduces, it makes difficult to attack it. It has more value. Okay, so yeah, he attacks. He wants to break weak, like fairly weak fortification, not 5 soldiers. So good opportunity for him. He has terrain superiority, and so the usual, he plays vampire-like to break this fortification as fast as possible, and I play Wood Elf Spearman to protect fortification. I have 3 guys with 3 rerolls, so I have really good odds to do this. So he doesn't roll any hits. That's lucky for me. I just deal him 1 damage. That's unlucky for me, but you know, still overall he's taking damage when he dealt nothing. So cool. I don't really have I don't have useful bottom card, so I need to regroup to get my Wood Elf Spearman back, because when you use maneuver card, it stays on the table, stays on the board. You can't use the same maneuver card each round. If you want to get it back, you just need to play regroup. That sadly doesn't do anything by itself. So he tries with the vampire, because vampire is a special maneuver card. It has the special ability written that it goes back to your hand at the end of each combat round. So you can play it as long as you have bats. And you got the damage, and he got the bat. Okay. This is sad, yeah, that I don't have Spearman right now, because I would reduce this damage when I didn't before. And I roll only 1 damage again. So a little bit iffy, a little bit inconvenient. I should, like on average, I probably should have dealt him about 3 damage. I dealt only 2, but this is quite, it is not like something low odds to roll only 2 damage, you know, on 3-3 army over 2 combat rounds. So okay, he obviously presses because it looks like he might easily break. Oh, great confusion. This is interesting. He reduces my number of my combat dice by 2 to only 1, so even lower odds for my Wood of Spearman to protect the last hit point of the fortification. Ooh. And he deals 2 damage, and I don't even hit anything. So he breaks the fortification and deals me 1 damage, and then he presses. I use the opportunity that my army has only 1 damage, so when running away I will not need to take a damage. I mean to take, like, adjust the damage, actualize the damage, not sure how it was called specifically. So I keep all 3 soldiers. And I don't want to be fighting 3 soldiers versus 5 anyway. It is unfavored fight. I want to keep them to use later. So he took Ravenhill very fast. Okay, I use my Palantir. I see that I'm under some pressure. I don't know if I will be able to play the Arkenstone and Troop Leader. It doesn't seem like I will have opportunity, so I just want to get some flexibility to see what I will use my last Palantir for. I got Hope Rekindled. This is a very flexible, decent card. You can add leadership to, or 2 if you use Will of the West to play this card, and then you may move and attack with an army. Very flexible attack, especially with that leadership. Really cute. And I have Mastering for Battle. Choose up to 3 different regions and flip 130 token in each of them. Not very useful. This is like on the lower value card, because you usually want to do something more interesting than flipping 1 additional token, especially that I don't have 3 regions with, I have only 1 region with recruitment token, right? I mean, I can use Bard probably and Thundrill, but come on. At the bottom, 2 leadership is cute, but also not that impactful, so not really that good of a card. So what does he do? And then he decides to try and take second fortification. This is a little bit scary for both of us, because this is not really that strong of an army. He has 1 Basque and Goblins. Goblins are good at taking fortifications, because even if they take damage by themselves, still 1 normal damage against fortification half is valuable. And even if I lose, even if I win this combat, it still opens him path to take it easily in the future. So yeah, a bit scary. I have 4 dice with 2 leadership. I have Dwarven Veteran and 2 Lakemen, so these are like decent soldiers. We'll see what will happen. So he attacks. He still gets super, which is really cool with goblins, that you can attack. All 3 fortifications are on high heals. So maybe this is the balancing factor, that goblins have the weakest maneuver card, but still this card is decent against fortifications, and they have the good favored terrain for taking fortifications. So yeah, goblins. Maybe it may be surprising for some viewers why I talk about goblins so much, but they are usually considered to be like the trash units, first to kill. But they have they are tool that are valuable for certain situations, and in certain situations they are one of the best soldiers possible to have. So yeah. So obviously he opens with the vampire-like, because he could have some general event story, but yeah, vampire-like are still good. And I with dwarven veterans, because if I reduce his leadership, it will be very strong. And he rolled 2 hits with bats. It is 3rd hit, so he breaks my fortification in 1 round. Really nasty. And I missed my maneuver. This is really big. Veteran maneuvers are one of the strongest, if not the strongest in the game, so missing that one hurts. And I dealt him only 2 damage. So yeah, he obviously presses. I think I might have advantage, not sure, at the beginning of the combat, but if he just breaks fortification 1 go, I don't have advantage any longer. So, but I decided to stay to rough him up a little bit. And he dealt me 1 damage with possibility to use his maneuver, and I missed my maneuver again. That is nasty. Yeah, this is really big. Only 1 damage. And he uses his Goblin's ability to put the second damage, which is quite big, because now if I will be retreating, actually before 2. So yeah, he just wants to destroy this army as fast as possible, and it doesn't kill any of his soldiers. I mean, this is understandable. And I decide to run away. This is nasty, because again, usually where there are like 2 ways of retreating. Basically, there are 3 ways you retreat here in this game, which is a little bit convoluted. But because I ran away and I don't have ability to run away into region not adjacent to enemy army, I have to run away through region adjacent to enemy army, but I take additional damage. So I adjusted the 2 initial damage, killing one of my lakemen, and then I got 1 more damage. And he took Eastern Spur. So this is neat for Shadow. It looks like he got 8 out of 10 victory points, 2 fortifications already, and it is not even end of round 2, right? So it might sound nasty and like, oh man, like Shadow is winning this game. You know what? Maybe like wait for summary until end. No, don't wait for summary. But what I meant to say, it is not War of the Ring again, which is this game isn't like in War of the Ring where Shadow takes a fortification, it keeps the fortification, it keeps the city for the rest of the game. And when the game happens that 3 people retake their fortress, it is like a highlight of entire video, of entire game, that in this game 3 people try to retake a fortress and maybe succeed. No, in this game it is very something standard that 3 people, their way of defense is to be counter-attack, not just stand in place and bleed out. That's why also you see me running away, not just leaving my soldiers to die. So what's the situation? Yeah, he took Ravenhill, but will he keep it? No way. I have my Elven army here at full strength when he is damaged. I have my generals that can consolidate with those. So I have basically 2 armies strong of 5 Elven soldiers and human with lots of leadership against damaged army. He is not keeping that one. Not for long. Eastern Spur, yes, that was a success because this is very isolated fortress. So it is very hard to support or retake. It is usually one of the spots that Shadow sooner or later takes in the game. But you know, I will kill this. He has damaged army here, and what will happen? I have my board. I have my army is recruited. I will have full stack army here. I have decent army here, and he again is fully on the east. He cannot be to attack me from multiple sides. Again, I'll be in position when I lost 1 fortification and I need to defend from one side. So it may look like, oh no, Shadow is almost winning, but actually at what cost? He is not. He didn't even have time to recruit his tokens, so his armies are fairly weak here. And as for now, I just lost 1 lakeman, so I didn't even take that many losses in soldiers. It's not like my armies got demolished and I'm reduced in some way. No. So what I do? Yes, and I do what I was just talking about. I am retaking my fortress. Whenever I succeed or not, whenever I take damage or not, this is not that big of a deal because I still have a lot of soldiers in here. And again, if they will try running away, there's only 1 spot. It's not like there will be elusive army that just slips away and then can retake or consolidate. This is isolated army, and they are surrounded on all fronts. I might have been able to use Thundrill to shoot them. No, I actually didn't have too many archers on hill, so I don't. Yeah. So I just attack. Oh, yeah. I just used bar to place additional token here, which makes sense. So again, those goblins still did the decent job in a sense that they broke the fortress, but they didn't kill anyone and they took my attention. But they also costed him a lot to put those soldiers and move around. So who lost here more? That's the question. Yeah, there's a question. This is quite important. When you attack hills, high hills from any other region, then from a region that not being high hills, maybe okay, maybe different way. If you attack into high hills, first round of your combat, you roll only on sixes because high hills are the like defensive position. The exception is when you attack also from high hills, then it is assumed that okay, this is the same height, which is yeah. So, but he uses fierce defense, which makes sense. He wants to bleed me out here, and I use Wood of Spearman. So we both. This is funny. We fight very defensively first round of combat. Oh wow. Okay. For now, I was very. I would say probably unlucky on the hits. It seemed that I wasn't able to really hit my maneuvers, but I just got back. I got 5 damage with my maneuver. Oh no, wait. He got fierce defense. I got 1 damage. Oh no. So, okay, thanks to my maneuver and his maneuver, we all deal only 1 damage to ourselves. Okay. And then I use Lakeman. I just want to kill as much as possible of those goblins, which makes sense. And he uses regroup. Huh, does he want to retreat? Maybe. Maybe orcs would be better? I wonder. Wait, why does it? Ah, okay. And yeah, what did I roll? I rolled 3 hits plus maneuver, so 4 hits, which is a lot, but he also rolled 3 hits. So that's the power of 3 people maneuvers. My maneuvers protect me from 1 damage, dealt him extra damage. This is very strong. And now when he retreats, he used regroup, which says that at the end of the round you may retreat without a rout. So rout is when you adjust damage and kill your soldiers. You have to reduce your damage on your army down to 1 or 0, and for each 2 damage you take from the army you need to kill 1 soldier. But when you retreat after using the regroup, you don't need that adjustment of damage, so you can hold the damage and keep the number of soldiers. Still, he retreats into a spot adjacent to my army because he doesn't have a choice. So he takes 1 damage. So the damage stacks, and he, and lots of his soldiers are simply dead. So this is what I talked about. He already lost 3 soldiers, and none of my soldiers here died yet. So, oh yeah, Gather and Marshal. This is really cool card, very flexible, very useful. He just flips a token here and places. If there are many results that can be very useful here. He got Warg. Wargs are very irritating units. You were able to see that in my game versus in my previous game, because basically even in losing fight, they have the maneuver that forces enemy to resolve the damage, adjust the damage, so they can kill some soldiers on going out, which is irritating. Now he uses a master die to do what? Okay, we desynced, so he uses master die to do what? Oh yeah, okay, and I decided that, you know what? We'll be using archery attack. Because I wanted to kill those guys as fast as possible. Maybe that wasn't a good choice. Maybe, I mean, on the one hand, I wanted to use the opportunity that they're damaged, but now maybe he can. He doesn't have. Maybe he can move this army with Palantir and then recruit bulk. And if I maybe I could respond to that. If he moves, I can kill them. But okay. And I decided, you know what? I'm not in a game losing spot. So when should I play Arkenstone? If not in turn 2, I decided to risk it and play the Arkenstone here. The sooner the better, and I will deal with those mess later. So he uses, ooh, that is interesting. Yeah, he uses the rally ability to heal 2 armies, so they healed out of 2 damage, and these goblins healed 1 damage, and then move to strike. Okay, so he moves. In theory, he's not able to move like from here, because when you move adjacent to enemy army, you can't move further, but he can move here. So yeah, he is able to move here and attack, despite what was showing on his army movement. Who has terrain superiority? Yeah, I'm standing on a flat terrain. Wargs are really good on a flat terrain, so he has super here. Okay, it would be a shame to lose Bard, useful general. But what can you do? He needs to deal me only 3 damage to kill my veteran and Bard and Lakemen, but Lakemen are not that high value. And okay. And I got my luck back. Yeah, okay, so I got a few unlucky combats when I wasn't doing too much and he was just smashing me. But then I got a few lucky combats back, so my Bard survives. Yay! Oh my! And now I'm hitting. Now my Dwarven Veteran Maneuver hits, so I just dealt him 4 damage. And the leader token, leader token doesn't matter because he's cleared at the end of the round. But yeah. And he presses, and I decided, you know what, I have enough. And I have army of 4 soldiers here. You know what would be cool? To get this Dwarven Veteran to have 5 soldiers here. So I run away, I kill my Lakeman, and he decides to stay here, which is interesting choice because he doesn't double down on one direction. He has goblins that can go here and this army that can go here. But I think I already said that once when reviewing this game, that he had many directions that he can attack for. But I think we can see the issue already, because if you can attack from multiple sides, but those attacks are weak so that 3 people can counter-attack and clear them, they are not really that scary. It is probably better to have a strong attack and then some support coming, or some support directions and whatnot. It is interesting. I had people able to recruit, but I didn't have a C die, so I wasn't able to recruit him. Okay, I got 2 cards. He is not lost. Oh, this is cute. That one of my general is killed. I can get him back. Sometimes you can just sacrifice a general to the Great Orcs, or in some desperate fight, and Shadow player thinks he succeeded killing like Dane, Tandril, something like that. But then you get him back, and you're like, oh no. And this is one of the strongest cards in the game, because it has one of the best top effects, move to strike. The reach of this card is really insane. The ability to run half the map and attack something and even threaten, it is really big. And also dense fog is one of the best bottom effects, just because stopping the fight, for example, it allows one your opponent wants to take something, he damages you, then you use dense fog, stop the fight and rally, or place recruitment tokens, flip them, or come with some counter attack. This can basically stop enemy for trying to win, uh, which is quite strong effect. So this story event card is stacked, basically one of the best story event cards, not story, generic event cards in the game. Okay, 3 generals per usual, especially that I have Arkenstone in the pool. I don't really mind digging Shadow through deep, because maybe he will pull it out. So I really want him to pull the Arkenstone. So I don't really am not beneficial any longer to reduce number of generals. And I place leadership tokens in 3 spaces. I basically spread out my leadership. I try for each of my armies to have a leadership to be flexible. Yeah. So he draws a 2, and because there's Arkenstone in the pool, and already this is round 3, so 2 tokens were pulled out, so that the pool is a little bit thinner. There's always the risk: is 2 something you want to keep, but then Thorin is suddenly, a bit joins faster, or do you want to fish for the ones? And I think he decides to keep the 2, especially that it is without the fate, which is understandable. I respect that. And then he rolls, and I get so inflexible rolls. Yeah, here ProniX asks if he can use rally action to heal armies with goblins, but basically no. Eyes are like army dice for armies with goblins, with addition to putting goblins into the boxes. Yeah, Schrödinger goblins, we may say. Okay, I got a lot of C dice, which is probably better than having only 1 attack a turn. Still, I have some things to do with the C die. I really want to consolidate those 2 armies to save Bard and Dwarven Veteran. I have Bilbo to recruit, so already 2 of my C dice are have a use. So this is not bad roll. I have a lot of stuff to do. Do I use any general? Yes, I am using Bard to flip the recruitment token. Oh my, it is a little bit too much. 3 Dwarven Veterans, yeah, they're a little bit too stacked. I would prefer probably to have second Lakeman at this point, just to have flexibility of maneuver cards, which is also cute in this game. Which is also very fun in this game, that it is not like one type of a soldier is the best or the most fitting for something, so you want to just stack those soldiers, and every other soldier you get from the recruitment tokens is in a sense unlucky. It is very very cool that the versatility and the versatility of your army matters a lot. Okay, it is interesting. He uses this army to attack my Ravenhill army. So he has weaker army than me, and he decides to attack anyway. He gets again the card because of the terrain superiority. His army is weaker, but mine is damaged. He probably counts on triggering Vorgs to kill like 2 or 3 soldiers on the spot, to use the fact that my army is damaged, which is interesting. Actually, this is one of the spots where I would be able to use the troop leader that I mentioned before. Not that strong of a card, but in this specific situation, when I have 1 damaged army, it could be useful. Okay, but still, on the other hand, I didn't really have time to do this. Maybe on the previous turn I was able to decide, do I want to play Arkenstone or do I want to play Troop Leader? So I obviously start with Wood of Spearman just because I want to reduce damage taken. And then he... Oh, this is a cool card. So he doesn't roll only 3 dice because of 3 soldiers. The strength, combat strength of each of his units is 2. So each of his units rolls 2 dice. You are limited by 5, so he still limits 5. So the fact that this is a small army doesn't impact him that much this combat round. Oh, what? ProniX, calm down. What are you doing, man? He is rolling 4 damage. But fortunately for me, I got my maneuver. Oh wow, I'm rolling wild here. 2. Okay, so I'm dealing 3 damage and I got maneuver, so we both dealt 3 damage to each other. Yes, so... Ooh, that hurts, that hurts. And he presses. So I see the opportunity to consolidate my armies, basically, because, okay, if I run away, I have to kill a soldier, because I need to reduce down to 0 or 1 damage, so I have to reduce those 2 damage tokens and kill one of the soldiers. But I have 3 soldiers sitting here. So I probably decide that, yeah, this is a good opportunity to have 5 men and women strong army. He retakes Ravenhill, but it is again temporary. Those 3 soldiers are no match for my strong elven army. The issue obviously is that pesky Wolf Rider, because he can just kill soldiers. Doesn't matter that I have some room for to hold more damage. So I take the opportunity. I see damaged army. I have 4 archers. Every damage kills a soldier here. Makes me taking less damage in the combat. So I just roll the damage, but I hit only 1 damage from the archers, which is a little bit unlucky. Oh, and he kills a warg, which is interesting. I would have kept him. Oh, and this is the opportunity. I play troop leader. I don't want to use, you know, Will of the West to rally 1. I just heal that army with 2 damage. This is cool. So so he uses rally action. Yeah, he wants to be resilient, but he misses all 6 rolls on those goblins. Heal lands. Oh yeah, and he heals though. He has 2 damaged armies, so this is a good opportunity for him actually. Yeah. And he healed 2 damage here, so not too bad, not too bad. And then I play Bilbo. I see, you know what? He is preparing to go here. This army isn't really a threat. I don't need to deal immediately with that army. Because there's no way my 5 stack healthy army is not winning against this one. So I just can prepare. The Ruins of Dale, very flexible terrain. I can move basically any direction. I have leadership here. I have cool soldiers here. So this is like my anchor, right? And he plays. Ooh, that sounds like one of the strong cards. So he flips 5 recruitment tokens in Broken Lands and may move 1 army in black. Okay, he has a lot of recruitment. Cool. 5. This is very sudden, very strong recruitment. I like it. And he can move 1 army, so he consolidates. He moved the army from here to here, so he is stacking army from one direction. And I seem to be in a hurry. Not exactly sure why. I was able to wait and pass, but okay. I move here and I just attack to want to finish them, and they just play regroup. Probably doesn't have anything useful. I attack with Wood of Spearmen. Wood of Spearmen are especially cool in finishing small armies, because in these cases you usually don't need more damage from cards. You just don't want to be like being beaten in your ankles, by those soldiers. And yeah, cool. I killed him. He would have dealt me damage, but the maneuver protects me. So I have very strong. So all that killing, fighting. In the end, I think I lost about 3 soldiers here, and my and he lost 6 soldiers here. So he lost more than me, which is quite usual with Shadow. And he broke the fortification. But what does it lead to? Killing soldiers on the front, so your armies can proceed and attack in various directions, is useful. If his goblin box is expanded from here, so it is very low odds that he will have time to rebuild those goblins and attack here again. So will he ever attack here again? If not, this all effort was basically without any progress, right? But if it opens an opportunity for him to attack, if he has some plan to go here, then that forward attack might have been useful. We will see. But this is about like the grand strategy of this game. There's some setup, and then you try to capitalize on that. Okay. Shadow has 3 hybrid dice, so he can still do a lot. I have only 1 die, but I have strong armies at the front, so I can probably react. He moves 2 armies, makes sense. I pass, also makes sense. He moves 2 armies here. That is interesting. Not quite sure what does he move here. This is weird. I don't know. So this is what I talked just a moment before, that he weakened my elves here, and if he can capitalize on that, but he moves to the north. So I use Dine, right, to place a token here for future, and I use my move to strike. I see isolated army. This army is damaged, that it has only 1 recruitment, 1 leadership token. So my army is much stronger. I have more leadership. I have stronger soldiers. So yeah, why not destroy an army that is weaker, right? Why not reduce enemies when I can with possibly low cost? So he uses Great Confusion, a defensive card. I use Dwarven Veterans for some reason. What is with this card? Can I? Okay, we will see. Maybe it will grab. I miss my maneuver. Ah no, I hit 1 of maneuver. I have 2 rerolls, so I dealt 3 damage and killed the leader token. He deals only 1 damage. Yeah, cool. So despite him using defensive card, I still dealt him much more damage than he did to me. I press because the thing is I want to force him to retreat, so he needs to adjust the damage and lose soldiers, because that's my goal, to reduce his combat power for future turns, so his attack will be weaker. And also to move away my army from camp, so for future when I recruit I can start building new army. I play obviously Lakeman because I don't have a reason to play something else. Each damage kills a soldier, and he plays Great Confusion again? Whoa, this is crazy. Wait, is it? Yeah, Great Confusion. I roll too many dice, but basically, yeah, but this is like the usual in War of the Ring. When you roll too many dice, you just assume there are leadership rerolls, and if you go over leadership reroll, then you just ignore those. So we actually count these are three rolls, and these are 2 rerolls, so everything is fine. 2 damage with additional 1 from the Lakeman, so it is 3 damage. He rolls 3 damage back, which starts stacking, but I already killed 3 soldiers. So this is what I talked about. My army was stronger than his army, and suddenly, this is a very one-sided battle. I'm clearing his soldiers, and he had 3 armies here. I still have. I didn't lose any soldier yet, but he lost entire army. I got some, and my rolls weren't even that lucky when you consider, like, with rolling 3 dice with 2 rerolls, I can roll that hit or two. Maybe you should have dealt 1 damage less, about something like that. And he rolls those pesky works. If he hits that maneuver, which will be nasty, he will kill me at least 2 soldiers here. Oh, but I have a dwarven regulars. If I hit this maneuver, I will save 1 damage from my army. I rolled maneuver, so this was quite lucky combat for me overall, but not extremely lucky. Okay. Yeah. So I deal 2 damage, I kill off them, and I can use Dwarven Regular as he would have 3 health, not 2. And he hit for 2 damage with maneuver, which is a shame. And this is interesting situation. So he deals 2 damage and triggers maneuver. So basically, I need to kill a soldier. And this is what I talked about, that I value, like, in general, dwarven veterans are the strongest soldiers of 3 people, but I value the versatility and the flexibility of your army. I don't think 3 dwarven veterans are stronger than 2 dwarven veterans and the lakeman. So I decide to kill the dwarven veteran. And so I killed 5 soldiers for the cost of 2 soldiers and 2 of his general event cards, which is the opportunity. You see opportunity, you try to trade up. And if I will kill more soldiers than I will lose, he will run out of soldiers, so he will not be able to win the game without the soldiers. So this is the situation when I talked after round 2, right? It looked like, oh no, Shadow took 2 strongholds. They have 8 points, and look where we are. He is holding the Eastern Spur with damaged army, not very that strong, and he is like on the edge of the map. He's not threatening anything else. 4 points is not that big of a deal if you don't have any way to get more points than 4. You win by having 10. And he moves 2 armies. So yeah, he moves gobos here. Understandable, because this is empty for now. And he moves here because what else can he do? But this is interesting. I have strong army here that is stronger than his army. I have this army that can move back and recruit with camp, and my army will be stronger than his. And I still have backup army here if needed. So how, at this point, when you look from the strategical perspective, how Shadow can win? There's, they need to recruit bulk. If they will recruit bulk, they will have suddenly not 1 army and some scraps here. They will have 2 or 3 armies here. So that's the answer. And also, free leadership is a big deal. So yeah, I got on the march. Okay, my 2 armies can move up to 2 regions, which is very useful. I will need to do some repositioning. Blow the horns, improved rally action. No quarter for 3 people is not that useful. This is very strong when trying to take strongholds, attack uphill or through the river, but it is usually more for shadow card. I keep activating 3 generals because I want to keep recruiting soldiers. And look at that. This is really cool. That's the Arkenstone. He tried to fish for 1 to avoid my Thorin joining the game, because Thorin will put 3 recruitment tokens, will give me a die. And already I mentioned that I think I have advantage as 3 people at this point with Thorin. And the Arkenstone is joining the battle. So it goes by 3. Eagles are very close to. And card for Bjorn. Actually, you know what? With that 3 and the 2 that was run earlier, maybe Bjorn will be Maybe he'll do some stuff. Yeah, okay. And he sets up bots. He sets up free leadership. Understandable. Not like he can do anything, put more leadership anywhere. And he sets up free bots. We roll a die. One eye die. At this point, this is not. He probably wants to use these goblins sometime. So recruiting goblins. I mean, maybe for a moment. And I got very flexible, very good roll. First of all, I can recruit Thorin. It would be unlucky if I didn't have any Will of the West or Sea Dice. So I use Bard to flip a token, because Bard can either put token in a camp or flip any Northern token, and I use a Sea Die to move in here. Why did I do this way? Why didn't I just move in and then slowly put tokens and recruit the tokens? Because again, I might be a little bit afraid of the move to strike. That card is very scary. If I move just my free soldiers with a damage, maybe he would be able to move to strike. And to be honest, 5 damage goblins like on a flat land like that, I don't know if they they would pack a punch, if they would win. But why would I risk it? I prefer, even if they will build out and lose, they may kill my veterans and reduce this army very rapidly. So I don't need to risk it, right? He moves, and no, he decided to recruit bulk. I think he was debating, does he want to take to attack Dale and try to recruit bulk with 3 bodyguards? But let's be honest, I have this army, I have this army, maybe even this army. What are the odds? And maybe if he waits too long, I will start attacking his army, and maybe I will even, reduce this army or kill this army, so he will not be able to recruit the bulk anyway. So I think this is reasonable choice. He recruits bulk, he puts him here. I don't know if this is, maybe he should have put him on the front, I don't know. And yeah, 4 orcs. So great orc, 4 orcs, and he has very big army here. He has big ready army here, so he can still overwhelm me. It is round 4, which is a bit late, but rounds are longer in Battle of Five Armies than in War of the Ring, because you have more useful dice. In War of the Ring, eyes are sitting in the pool, they don't do much. Sea dice for 3 people are for hiding and moving fellowship, so again, they don't do that much. It is like a clock ticking or clock slowing in a sense. But in this game, every die is useful on the game board. So yeah, okay. Now I use Dane to put a token, and I recruit 2 tokens. So all of the tokens are recruited. I have this was weaker army. It was only 3 soldiers army, but you know what? I just strengthen it back to 5 soldiers. Again, very strong. As you were able to see, 5 soldiers killed 5 soldiers, losing only 2. So what will they do with those goblins? It will be a massacre. That's what. Now, what does he do? Yes, I was just checking if there is a limit of 10 soldiers on those recruitment regions, but there's no limit. He can use a Sea Die to move all of that stuff in here. He has here 11 soldiers, which is funny, little bit of crazy. But who doesn't love a little bit of crazy? I use Will of the West to recruit Thorin. I have little bit of time, because he's giving me that time, because he doesn't have a choice basically. He needs to move his army, so I'm putting Thorin. My recruitment places are set up again, and I have die for the future. And actually, front gate with only these 2, Dwarven Veteran and Thorin, is actually very hard to take. Normal army, normal shadow army without any bulk or fancy shadow event cards usually can die to just this in here. So yeah. yeah. So yeah, he moves out. He uh, he is moving his armies to be ready to attack on multiple angles. And then I use the opportunity. You know what? I see weak army just set up like that. I know that they have support next to them, but I just want to kill them. If I kill them, then instead of fighting two armies, I will be fighting one army. So cool. I attack them, and no one gets terrain superiority. And I have two dwarven veterans. I want to the usual stuff: deal damage and reduce uh, and kill the recruitment token. Fortunately I hit it, and I got 2 damage from dice, 1 from maneuver. So I already start killing goblins, and I kill the token. He gets only 1 pack, and he has regroup, so he can run away, and he decided to run away. So cool, right? He used half of a die to move here, and he was forced to run back, losing soldiers. So I slow his progress. Now he is attacking me. His army is basically stronger. He has terrain superiority. He has great orcs. I mean, he has bulk, so he has more recruitment. He has the bodyguard. But I have a token in here. I can retreat and recruit. So I can lose some soldiers, right? He goes over the 6 cards in his hand. Story and event cards add up, and you have limit of 6 in total. So when he went to the 7th card, he needed to discard. I obviously, like, this is maybe the boring part, especially in 3 people maneuvers. Basically, my best maneuver card I can play is Dwarven Veterans. It is better even than general event cards, so I just played Dwarven Veterans. This is a little bit of a no-brainer, which is also a little bit of sad, because this card is so strong that why wouldn't I play it? Ooh, that is nasty. So he played Battle Fury, adds 1 to combat roll, so he hits on 4s, not on 5, so he dealt me 4 damage. But I dealt him 3 damage and a leader. Which, yeah. I decided to run away. But okay, yeah. So this is nasty. I just lost a lot of soldiers. I use Tandril. Yeah, I don't see opportunity for any archery attack. I just want to start stacking up armies. And I use my last die to basically recruit. And this is cool, despite the fact that this army has only 3 soldiers, because these are Dwarven Veterans that have combat strength 2, I still roll 5 dice. And he has eye die, so it is my army is still, cannot be attacked by any means, because with eye die he can only trigger goblins to move here or recruit. So he just moves those goblins. Makes sense. Maybe he should have placed the goblins here for the future. I don't know. Moving those soldiers to have big closer makes sense too. It is valuable, even if not like full value. So I got moved to strike again. Very strong. I got Elven Charge, which is also very strong. So I have hand full of strong cards, useful cards. Probably he is not lost, the weakest one, because how much time will this game go on? Will I have time to lose a general and then get him back? I'm not sure. So I have 3 attack cards in my hand. I have Hope Rekindled, Elven Charge, and Move to Strike, and each of them are stronger than usual attack card, which is cool in this game, that events are so valuable. And sometimes you want to play event with a die. In War of the Ring, usually you play event dice to change Palantir to attack. In this game, sometimes you play attack die and play event anyway, just to augment your attack, because it is stronger with an event, and it is really cool. So again, I trigger 3 generals. There's no Arkenstone, but I don't think that this game will get that much longer. I basically need to kill bulk here, or kill those 2 armies, and I don't even need to wait for Bjorn or those 15 points, right? So I don't really need fate that much, and 1 fate is enough to get me eagle, so I don't really want to like uh, make some run depend on randomity. I want my leadership, I want my recruitment tokens, especially that leadership is important because he has great orcs, so I won't have leadership tokens with my army because great orcs maneuver, if they trigger, they either deal 2 damage or you have to reduce kill your leadership tokens or character. So if I will have not if I will don't have leadership token, I will need to take 2 damage or kill Dane, and I don't want that. So I want to have spread out leadership tokens. So yeah, and I have Thorin, so I have 6 dice. I have the same number of dice as the shadow player, which is not good for shadow player. This is the thing that shadow player has advantage early. 3 people when the characters start joining Bilbo, Thorin, and then Eagles, it really favors shadow 3 people. So I use Bard to play a token. This is funny. Usually early in the game, you want to use Dane to place tokens and keep Bard as a flexible. Maybe I will flip a token. But right now I have no tokens to flip, so his second ability is useless. But Dane ability can protect me from Great Orcs. If he will attack me and hit Great Orcs and reduce my leadership token, I still have Dane, so I can activate Dane in my future turns and get leadership token back to protect me from future Great Orc maneuvers. So there is some mini games. This is cool again in this game that there are some neat little interactions like that. I am stacking. So I'm getting these soldiers back. I'm stacking here. A cool thing what I can do is I can split this army now. I can use, for example, I have on the march, choose 2 armies to move 2 regions each. I can take these 5 soldiers, move 3 here and 2 here, and I will have 2 stacked elven armies, which is cool. Yeah. Yeah, he's a little bit complaining that he has only ice and palantirs. I mean, depends on his hand. This is the part of the strategy that at turn 5 you probably need to stack up some cool events in the hand if you can for turns like that, so your palantirs will be useful. So there is some part of the strategy. Do I use event cards because they're useful here, or do I keep them for the future in case, to use palantirs? So he uses regroup, which is very useful for him. With 4 leadership, he can really heal a lot. This army also needs healing. Let's oh my, his goblins heal 3. Okay, this is a big deal. So this army was on the edge of dying, and right now it is much more. Oh wow! So he healed 6 damage. That's the power of the late master die. Okay, so what do? I use Dane to place a token, and I use a master die to flip that only token, which makes sense. It is not efficient. I'm not flipping 2 tokens, but you know what? It is good enough. I mean, this is good value. Maybe he will force me out of the camp soon, so I will not be able to use it anyway for recruitment. I want to have the stack of 5 healthy soldiers. Oh yeah, okay, so that's the thing, Palantirs are not bad die. He got a better attack than he would have from any other die with this Palantir. So this is good Palantir. So which is encirclement, move 1 friendly army. Then if you have 2 or more armies adjacent to the same enemy army, you can perform a combined attack. So I'm glad I recruited here. These 2 armies are now gangbanging my camp, and yeah, I have no hopes of winning this. I just will be thinking how I can limit my damage, maybe deal back some damage, and get away from this uncomfortable position. So he starts with bulk. I start with dwarf veteran. Yeah, well, he starts with Battle Fury. So depends on his hand. He is again. He talked about that he has only Palantirs, but if he has Sudden Assault in hand, then Palantir is better than other attacking cards, right? So again, that Palantir rolls weren't bad. It is not again as War of the Ring where Palantirs are, oh man, how to make them into useful dice. Basically, if you work a little bit on that, they are usually useful. So again, Battle Fury, I wouldn't be using that effect. I think like Great Orcs or even normal Orcs can have more useful effect. But he got a damage from that one. So yeah, 4 damage on me. I roll my and I miss my oh no my maneuver. Well, but I got 2 damage. So 4 damage against 2 damage. He presses with goblins. So do I run away or do I stand the fight? I decided to run away. Yeah, I decided, you know what? I don't want any of that. And because it was combined attack, he can decide who he wants to move into the camp. And obviously bulk is stronger, so he moves the bulk. It is scary. He has 6 points. If he will take front gate, he wins on the spot. My front gate isn't, you know, that top-notch protected, and bulk still has the bodyguard token, so he might push through, which is a bit scary for me. I cannot leave this open, and I don't have the dense fog to even stop. So if I will not do something immediately, despite the fact that I talked before, like, oh, I have advantage, oh, okay, how does he win? This is one of the ways a Shadow can win. He has Eastern Spur, he can take camp and then push through the front gate. So, yeah. What do? I basically, I use On the March. Yeah. Okay, that is cool. I was able to move 2 armies 1 space. But I decided, you know what, that 1 extra space for those of an army is useful, so I can consolidate it. So this is actually what I just talked a moment before. These events cards are so flexible and useful that sometimes you don't use them only to make your Palantirs better or useful. You make them to make your regular dice better. And yeah. Yeah, so he is asking if he can use I die for combined attack, and no, it is not possible. I dies are basically, yeah, specifically goblins. So goblins are attacking my Dane, which is not a big deal. I feel like I can basically retreat almost any time. If I retreat with 1 Dwarven Veteran and Lakeman, the front gate will be immensely strong and almost impossible to take, so it is fine by me. Or maybe he will have bad luck with some rolls and I will just kill his soldiers for more or less free. Obviously I will start with Dwarven Veterans. I know this is getting a little bit old, but I think that's why free people are stronger than Shadow player, because one of the things is the Dwarf Veteran is such a strong maneuver card. Oh, and he didn't roll a hit. That is unlucky. Oh my, and I dealt him 4 damage and leadership token. So suddenly this army, yeah, that's unlucky part. But you know, whenever you play a game with dice, that can always happen. Basically, that army attacked me, dealt completely nothing, and is demolished and next to useless for some time. But he presses. I'm not sure. I mean, he wants to suicide this army, but he can give me a free retreat whenever I want. I don't know. He does me 1 damage. With Bass it is 2nd damage. And well, okay, and I did nothing. Okay. So okay. And he stops. Okay, this is neat. This is smart. He doesn't press, because if he presses, I can just now hide this army for free in the front gate, and it will be next to untakeable. he dealt some damage on the second round. He used a bat, so yeah. I use. Okay, this is quite cute maneuver. Cute. I use Will of the West as an army, so I hide this army and I protect Ravenhill with this. I can basically in future either move these soldiers here to have 5, quite close to an action, or just hide here to have 5 here and protected this fortification. So I still have 1, 2, 3, 4 strong armies when he has 2 armies and 1 very weak one. And he goes for Dale. That is, yeah, okay. I mean, that is also, I think, a good choice in a sense that he realizes, you know what, if he attack the front gate, he may basically risk losing the game because I may have a lucky roll, he may be forced to use bulk, and then I will be able to chase him with my further die and just kill his armies, kill his bulk. So he decided, you know what, I'm trying not to win through the front gate, I try to take points elsewhere, which makes sense. So I have 5 soldiers that are good fighting in the city, so I have terrain superiority. I get blow the horns, may be useful actually. I'm fighting here, this army is damaged, or Captain of War, which also is useful because it can heal during the fight, which is very fun effect. And yeah, I open with Dwarf Veterans. Maybe I should have started with Lakeman. I don't know. Oh wow, he dealt me 5 damage. That hurts. And triggered maneuver. Okay. This is nasty. Fortunately, I got my Dwarven Veteran. And I got 4 damage back. Okay, yeah, so very bloody combat. Obviously, I don't want to kill Bard. Or yet, or at all. I use Bilbo to reduce damage taken. And he decided, you know, that 4 damage is enough. I mean, more is only 5 of 6, realistically speaking. So yeah, he uses the Baltic card. He is quite desperate to win soon, because if not, I can recruit Eagles this turn and start messing him up next turn, right? And you know, he is not in that good spot of taking fortifications anyway, because retaking camp is not a big deal for me. Okay, and he uses Vampire-like, makes sense, very good maneuver, and he hits me for 4 damage. I have Lakeman, let's see what happens. I hit him, oh my, very bloody. I also deal him 4 damage. Extremely bloody combat on both parts, so yeah, he starts losing soldiers, and that is a dangerous part of playing Shadow, because you know, now Bulk, if he will keep fighting, he may lose the game on the spot, you know. If he stops fighting, I can maybe counter attack and kill him. So a lot of nasty stuff. He presses, and you know what? I don't need that many armies, and killing those great orcs, reducing bulk army, maybe you know, building opportunity for killing bulk. I want to take that. So yeah, and I use Captain of War. So Bart will probably sacrifice himself to protect his army. And actually, yeah, I don't have a place to run away. I mean, ProniX, he plays very smart in many ways. He constantly tries to surround my army so that I don't have a convenient way to retreat. So right now, if I would be retreating, every spot is adjacent to enemy army. So again, recapping that rule that usually is quite rare, but in this game it happens almost constantly. I don't have like a free easy way to run away, which is not through the river, not next to adjacent enemy army. So I will be dealt 1 more damage, and he will be choosing where I go. So very uncomfortable runaway. So I think maybe I'm thinking, you know, on sacrificing this army to the very end, just to deal as much damage as I can. This is quite a smart move again on him. he realizes the danger of him losing the game, so he tries to like fight this army, kill this army, but protect himself at the same time, which is cool. He rolls only 1 damage this time, and because of the fierce defense, I roll no damage, which is very interesting. How matching are we on the devastation? We either kill each other or do nothing, next to nothing. So I dealt him no damage because of the Captain of War. I just reduced damage on my army. And he presses. I stay because yeah. Oh yeah, and I have the card that is quite useless on the top. But you know what? In this specific situation, 2 rerolls, it may be 1 or 2 damage. So yeah, he uses regroup, so he ran out of steam. Why didn't he use like even regular orcs? Maybe to get a leadership? I don't know. Maybe he doesn't value this effect too much. But if he got leadership early, maybe he would reroll some of the misses into the hit and it will be like, by now, 1 or 2 damage. I don't know. So he, oh, okay. He deals 3 damage, which is massive, and yeah, I just said, oh, commanding voice, maybe 1 or 2 damage, and yeah, this is 2 damage. Okay, I play so smart. You know what? I keep saying that my opponents are smart and play good, but you know what? I'm also smart. I also play good. So, you know. And what does he do? If I will this lone dwarven veteran here. Wait, did I? It does seem something wrong. It should be a damage here, right? I don't know. So he presses, and this is funny because Dwarven Veteran has combat strength 2, so I still roll 2 damage. If I roll my damage, 2 of those damages, I can kill him. So yeah, nasty stuff. I just use the regroup, and he plays great work. He got, yeah, he got 2 hits. And I did 1 damage back, so extremely demolishing fight. I had Bilbo here, which made my army stronger. I had have more health. He already have expanded. Oh no, did he expand it during this combat? I think this army was a bit damaged. So if not for the Bilbo and if not for the damage of this army, it would be easier for him to lose less soldiers and to have more deciding fight, but it was so demolishing combat. I think it was completely worth for me to weaken the shadow strength so much because I still have some reinforcements here and I can retake camp. Hell, I have 2 elven armies here. I can retake Ruins of Dale, right? I mean, he can have. There's one story shadow card that if shadow controls Dale, he can recruit I think 3 warg riders, which is massive recruitment, so he can suddenly appear big army here. But if not for that, well, I still have move to strike. That strong elven army can easily jump here and kill this lone guy. Doesn't matter. And win the game because I will kill Bulk. So what he has to do? Yeah. So I'm just saying, I attack Dale. I rolled 1 damage, which is funny. It was like barely enough. But I have still one more reroll, right? Yeah. He played regroup. I'm not sure why. Regrouping gives him nothing because, yeah. So now what I'm pointing out that when he moved to take Dale, he was able to leave Bulk behind. So this is a little trick for shadow players when they see that Bulk is in danger of dying. They can leave him as a lone character on the map. Then he is immortal, so he takes away This way, Shadow player can take away that sudden death victory condition for 3 people by killing bulk. But you know, having that free leadership in an army is very crucial in this game to be able to win. So not having a bulk, you don't really can count on winning. My armies can constantly easily have 2 free leadership. If you're fighting with 1 leadership token against that, not not fun times. I think, yeah. And we take the and we talk that, yeah, he was able to do that, but it will be most probably just prolonging the game, right? I have that strong elven army against that, let's say, mediocre shadow army. I do have this strong dwarven army, and there are like weakling goblins here. I will recruit eagles right now. So I'll just simply start demolishing his armies for free with eagles, uh, retaking my strongholds. We talk a lot, but I think we ended up here. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we decided that at this point, simply Shadow player ran out of soldiers. I mean, he still has some tokens here and this army here, but by the time this army comes, my army can probably kill this one, regroup with this one, maybe heal, maybe something, and this one. Suddenly, I have 3 armies on the board when he has like one. I have eagles, so it doesn't look really good for Shadow. So this is cool game. I try to focus on the strategic part, how very strategic this game is, and also why my enemy lost in a sense. He made some really cool tactical maneuvers, some sudden attacks, some surrounds, but this game is very tactical. Positioning of your armies, as you were able to see multiple times, really matter to cut runaways for enemies, to surround enemies, to limit their ability to move. But still, the strategic layer is very important. If you make some decent or cool tactical moves turn by turn, it doesn't guarantee you win anyway. If it doesn't, uh, if it doesn't puzzle together into some strategic plan. Like here, those goblins basically weakened, have broken through Ravenhill fortress, and that was all. And those fortress points didn't really matter in the end of this game because it was never attacked anymore. If he kept those goblins here for opportunistic fight, he might have waited for a situation when I gather my soldiers uh, and leave Fallen Bridge so he can take Fallen Bridge. Maybe there will be some weaker army somewhere, or maybe he would have come here with some other armies and then support with this one. He just basically attacked with his goblins into the situation where I have more armies, and and it was isolated attack, so I had time to clear this attack and uh, like focus my attention somewhere else. And then, since this was a safe spot, because I cleared those goblins, I was able to have this army as a support. I was able to move to front gate if he would try to attack it and protect it. I was able to move to Ruins of Dale because that army was free. There was no enemy tying in some, Mexican standoff or something like that. It doesn't make sense, right? Probably. I don't know. Maybe it does. I don't know. So, uh, yeah. Basically, what I mean, a lot of cute tactical maneuvers, a very good tactical sense, but no overall strategical plan, and basically lost a lot of soldiers with a little gain. Still, I think really cool game. I mean, there were. I'm not saying that he was playing like badly or like a bad player. I'm just pointing out, I think, why he lost. What was the weak point in his play? Because by no means it was one-sided game. Like, right? There was some point where if he took the front gate, he just wins the game on the spot, right? Maybe if some lucky combat or some, maybe I don't know, maybe some events, maybe some rolls, maybe some decisions, and he would be able to refocus somewhere else. Yeah, yeah. So still very tense fighting all over the map, many decisions. I quite like this game, and I hope you like it too. Let me know if, let's say, that level of advancement of talking about the game, that I don't really recap that many rules, I just talk on the higher level, who is doing what and why on tactical and strategical level. If it's easy enough to keep up, can we go even further, or maybe I run away with some topics and some things are not that easy to understand. So, yeah, thanks for watching and have a good day.